Once again, the lighting changes. Yeah. What's good, everyone on YouTube? It's me again, back with another video, and going back to Adidas, or maybe more specifically Rick Owens. We're actually diving back all the way back into 2014 with the Adidas Rick Owens collaboration. And this particular shoe came out in the second release, I think would have been fall, winter 2014, which would be spring, summer in the southern hemisphere, but I'm not going to get into that. So this particular shoe debuted in that season, and it looked quite different from the original runner silhouettes that came out with like the split sole. So it came out in 4 colorways. We had the typical like black, white Rick Owens sort of color. We had an all black version, an all white version, and then this colorway with the black sole, which we have on the channel here today. So without further ado, today we are talking about the Adidas Rick Owens Tech Runner in the white and black colorway. I'll put the proper color code in the title of the video. So yeah, with the intro out of the way, let's get into the box. So the box is done in like a sort of brownish color. It's very typical to most Rick Owens boxes, even from his mainline stuff. So on the top we've just got Adidas Rick Owens written on the top, and if the lid comes off in time, we'll get talking into what's inside. There we go. And inside we get this little Adidas Rick Owens card, and the back of the card is essentially, to paraphrase, telling you that because this actually isn't an athlete shoe, don't expect it to perform like one, because it's made of materials that aren't actually for running. So kind of cool that they had to let us know that, but yeah, there you go. And then we've got a lot of paper inside, and the paper's actually quite disheveled at this point. And the shoes were stuffed with very small bits of packing paper. So pretty standard stuff. I don't expect too much from it. And then if we move to the side, it reads Rick Owens Tech Runner. So the retail price on these, at least on this box, it said that the retail price was £440 back in the day. That's pretty ridiculous. I didn't pay this. I was actually shopping on Grailed, and I came across a seller by the name of Raziel. I hope I pronounced that right. And he was letting go of his pretty good condition pair for a very reasonable price. So what I ended up paying was $270 US shipped. I'll put all the conversions and stuff here. And to be honest, considering the age of the shoe and the condition, I was actually very happy about that price. So, you know, I just want to shout out, thank you so much Raziel for this pickup. And yeah, with the box out of the way, let's get into the shoes. And here we are. The Rick Owens Tech Runner in the white and black colorway. So, much like the Rick Owens Level Runner review, as I mentioned in that video, in terms of colors, the shoe itself isn't very loud in that aspect. So the upper is just like these tonal whites, creams, and grays, and then the midsole and outsole is just done in this simple black color. But all the interesting things are actually retained or held in the shape of the shoe actually. So the upper itself, I will say, is not anything to write home about, to be honest. We've just got leather on the toe box and the midfoot. This interesting like neoprene material that almost feels like it's like wax coated. It's hard to describe. And then we've got this grey suede around the collar area, but the suede itself is a bit dirty, and that's kind of a sad reality of all the used pairs. They always just seem to get this dirt around here, because you're probably always touching it when you put your shoe on. And then we've got this interesting like nylon panel at the back. But the most interesting thing about the Tech Runner itself actually was the midsole. And the midsole itself is this super angular and sculpted EVA foam. So in terms of cushioning, it's not that special, but in terms of the shape it makes, I actually think is quite interesting. So sort of near the front, we've got like this sort of wider section that kind of sticks out almost like a diamond. And then when you move towards the heel, it actually comes to this really squared off heel section. It's hard to describe, but it's really interesting, and I think it looks quite nice. And then moving it to the outsole, Much like Rick Owens' love for sawtooth soles, we've got another sawtooth outsole. So it's got no branding on it except for right at the heel. And on the heel we've got the Adidas logo as well as the Rick Owens signature. So that pretty much covers the main features of this particular shoe. Now, in terms of sizing has been a really big hassle with actually the old Adidas Rick Owens stuff. They always seem to never fit true to size, or like there's always something off about them. So for this shoe, I decided to go true to size, and the length for me is actually quite good. It might be a little bit long, but in terms of like the height, the shoe itself is really sort of tall. So for myself to get a good lockdown, I actually have to crank the laces a lot to the point where it's basically touching, and I think it looks kind of hideous that way. However, I just added an insole in the heel section to lift my foot up, and it seems to have fixed that problem. And also, to just go off that, so the shoe fits true to size lengthwise, but it's also quite a narrow shoe. So honestly, I'd probably say, just as a safe bet, probably just go true to size in this shoe. Because I feel like if you go half size down, your toe might start hitting this leather layer, and I don't think that would be very comfortable. So I'm typically a US 9.5 in pretty much all of my shoes. I bought these in a 9.5, and with some insole modifications, they fit me alright. Now, in terms of comfort, to be honest, this really is very much a style over substance sort of thing. The midsole, even though it's like really sculpted and pretty chunky actually, it really is just standard EVA foam, so you really feel nothing special in this shoe. The insole that they provide is rather lackluster as well, and even with my like additional insole, the shoe isn't exactly great. The Rick Owens Level Run was actually surprisingly comfortable, but these not so much. The upper itself, the toe box seems fine with this neoprene. It's quite flexible, and the midfoot, because it's like leather, seems to hold your foot quite nicely. However, I will say, on the inside of this shoe, because they decided to use smooth leather, while it looks and feels nice, it doesn't really grip your sock very well, so there is a bit of heel slippage even when you tie the shoe up quite tightly. But overall, I would just say, for just standard walking around and like day-to-day sort of thing, this is alright. Nothing special, but it's serviceable. Now I get into the part of the video where I talk about my opinions on this shoe. And honestly, I think I'm like kind of like riding this like sort of slight addiction wave of like just Rick Owens stuff. I'm just going through a lot of these archive collaborations that I've seen, and like I've been finding that I've been drawn more and more to all these older pieces. And after getting the Level Runner, I actually start eyeing out this Tech Runner. And when I came across that listing with the decent price and the really good condition, because I've seen super beat pairs of Tech Runners showing up on Grailed, and I don't want to touch those. When I saw these come up, I just couldn't pass up on this opportunity. And honestly, it really is quite like a minimalist, maximalist shoe. I know I've said that before, but it really is kind of, it's simple, but it's also very loud. So in terms of the colors and stuff, it's not really going to be screaming anything, but the longer you look at it, the more you realize how interesting the shape of the midsole is and how the sawtooth outsole kind of ties everything together. And then there's just sort of nice tonal cream upper. I just think it's something that can be thrown on with a lot of different outfits and just sort of like go pretty easily. So overall, I would just say, I like it. It's good. Nice one to add to the collection. And with that, we've come to the end of another video. So, I'd love to hear what you think about the Rick Owens Tech Runner in the white and black colorway. And out of the 4 colorways, which were your favorites? So if I had to rank them actually, I'd probably honestly say the original, well not the original, the black and white one is probably my favorite. But I have the Level Runner, so I thought I'd get something different. These were probably my second favorite. The triple black pair is probably my third, and then the all white pair was probably my least favorite. But I'd love to hear what you have to say. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video, and if you're into sneaker content and that sort of thing, consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll leave it at that. And I'll catch you guys in another video. do.